There comes a moment in life when you realize that chaos is not just around you, it's inside you. Your mind is cluttered, your schedule is scattered. Your dreams are buried under unfinished plans and delayed decisions, and the truth is most of us are waiting for motivation to magically appear before we start fixing our lives. But let me tell you something today. Order rarely comes naturally. Sometimes you have to force it. You have to force yourself to wake up earlier, force yourself to write the plan, force yourself to clean the space, clear the mind, and confront the habits that keep your life disorganized. Because the life you're praying for, the peace you're asking for, the success you're dreaming about, it cannot grow in chaos. You can have talent and still feel lost. You can have opportunity and still feel stuck. Not because you're incapable, but because your life is scattered in too many directions. So today is not about waiting for discipline to feel comfortable. Today is about deciding that your future deserves structure. It's about realizing that when you organize your time, your thoughts, and your priorities, you're not just cleaning up your life, you're making room for the person you're becoming. So if you're ready to stop surviving the chaos and start building a life with intention, then this message is for you. Chaos has a quiet way of stealing your potential. It rarely announces itself loudly at first. Instead, it creeps into your life through small delays, unfinished plans, cluttered spaces, and distracted thoughts. One day you wake up and realize that your dreams are still dreams, not because you lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because your life has become too disorganized to carry the weight of your potential. Chaos doesn't just make life messy, it makes progress difficult. It scatters your energy in too many directions, leaving you exhausted but strangely unproductive. Many people believe that success comes from inspiration alone. They wait for the perfect mood, the perfect moment, or the perfect burst of motivation. But potential cannot thrive in a life that has no structure. Imagine trying to build a beautiful house on a foundation that constantly shifts. No matter how strong the materials are, the structure will struggle to stand. In the same way, your dreams need stability, routine, and order. Without those things, even your greatest abilities become trapped inside a cycle of procrastination and confusion. Chaos often disguises itself as business. Your schedule may be full, your phone constantly buzzing, your mind always thinking about the next task, but being busy is not the same as being productive. Chaos fills your day with movement while quietly removing your progress. You may spend hours jumping from one task to another, answering messages, scrolling through information, or reacting to the demands of others. By the time the day ends, you feel tired. Yet the most important goals in your life remain untouched. When your life lacks organization, your mind begins to carry the burden. Every unfinished task becomes mental noise. Every delayed decision becomes another weight on your thoughts. Instead of focusing clearly, your brain constantly tries to remember everything you haven't handled yet. This mental clutter slowly drains your confidence. You begin to feel overwhelmed, not because your goals are impossible, because your environment and habits are working against your focus. The truth is that chaos creates doubt. When things around you feel out of control, it becomes harder to believe in your ability to move forward. You start questioning your discipline, your abilities, and sometimes even your worth. But often the problem is not who you are, it's the system you are living in. A disorganized life can make even the most capable person feel lost. Without structure, your energy leaks into distractions, your time slips away unnoticed, and your potential remains locked behind habits that do not support your growth. Think about how much power lies in clarity. When your environment is clean, your schedule intentional, and your priorities clearly defined, something begins to change inside you. Your mind becomes calmer. Your decisions become sharper. Instead of reacting to everything that appears in front of you, you begin to move with purpose. Organization creates space for focus, and focus allows your potential to finally move forward. This is why learning to organize your life is not just about tidiness or productivity tricks. It is about protecting your future. Your goals deserve a life that supports them. Your dreams deserve time on your schedule. Your mind deserves an environment that encourages peace instead of constant distraction. When chaos dominates your life, it slowly pushes your biggest priorities to the background while small, urgent distractions take control of your day. Many people underestimate how much their surroundings influence their mindset. A cluttered room often reflects a cluttered mind. When your physical environment is chaotic, it constantly signals your brain that things are unfinished and unresolved. Over time, this can create a subtle but powerful sense of stress. You may not notice it immediately, but the pressure builds. Organization, on the other hand, sends a different message. It tells your mind that things are under control, that progress is possible, and that you are capable of directing your life with intention. But here is the challenging truth. Order rarely appears on its own. It requires decision and discipline. It means choosing to create systems for your time, your goals, and your responsibilities. It means learning to prioritize what truly matters instead of allowing every distraction to steal your attention. At first, this effort can feel uncomfortable. Chaos, strangely enough, can become familiar. Breaking out of it requires honesty about the habits that keep you stuck. When you begin organizing your life, something powerful happens. You start noticing how much time you actually have. You realize how many opportunities were hidden behind poor planning or scattered attention. The same 24 hours that once felt overwhelming suddenly become manageable when they are guided by clear priorities. Your potential begins to surface not because you changed who you are, but because you removed the chaos that was blocking your progress. It is important to remember that organization does not mean perfection. Life will always contain unexpected challenges and moments of disorder, but the goal is not to eliminate every problem. The goal is to create a strong enough structure that chaos no longer controls your direction. When you know your priorities, when your goals are written down, and when your time is managed with intention, temporary disruptions no longer have the power to derail your entire path. Your potential is far greater than you may realize. Inside you are ideas waiting to be built, skills waiting to be developed, and opportunities waiting to be pursued. But potential needs a pathway to become reality. Without organization, it remains trapped in good intentions and unfinished plans. With structure, discipline, and clarity, that same potential can turn into consistent action. So if you ever feel like your life is moving but not progressing, pause for a moment and look around. Look at your habits, your schedule, your environment, and the way you manage your time. Sometimes the barrier between where you are and where you want to be is not talent or luck. Sometimes it is simply chaos. And once you recognize that truth, you gain something incredibly powerful, the ability to change it. Because the moment you begin replacing chaos with order, distraction with focus, and randomness with intention, you begin unlocking the potential that was always there, waiting for the right structure to rise. There is a dangerous myth that holds many people back from becoming the person they want to be. It is the belief that motivation must come first. People think they must feel inspired before they start working, feel excited before they become disciplined, or feel confident before they take action. But the truth is far less comfortable and far more powerful. Discipline must come before motivation. Waiting to feel ready is one of the easiest ways to stay exactly where you are. Motivation is a wonderful feeling. It can energize you, excite you, and give you a temporary push forward. But motivation is also unpredictable. Some days you wake up feeling driven and ready to conquer the world. Other days you wake up feeling tired, distracted, or discouraged. If your progress depends on how motivated you feel, then your progress will always be inconsistent. Your goals will move forward on your good days and stand completely still on your difficult ones. Discipline works differently. Discipline does not ask how you feel. It asks what needs to be done. It is the quiet decision to act even when the excitement is gone. Discipline is waking up when the alarm rings, even when your body begs for more sleep. It is sitting down to work when distractions are calling your name. It is choosing responsibility over comfort again and again until the choice becomes part of who you are. Many people misunderstand discipline. They think it belongs only to extremely strong or naturally focused individuals. But discipline is not a personality trait reserved for a special group of people. It is a skill that grows through practice. The first time you force yourself to do something difficult, it feels uncomfortable. The second time may feel slightly easier. Over time, those repeated actions begin shaping your habits, and your habits begin shaping your life. When discipline becomes part of your daily routine, something incredible happens. You stop negotiating with yourself about every task. You no longer waste energy deciding whether you feel like doing something. The decision has already been made. You simply follow through. This reduces mental exhaustion and creates momentum in your life. Instead of constantly starting and stopping, you begin moving forward with steady progress. Think about how many dreams are delayed because people are waiting to feel motivated. A person wants to write a book but waits for the perfect mood. Someone wants to get in shape but waits for the day they feel excited about exercise. Another person wants to organize their life but waits for the moment when they feel mentally ready. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and the dream remains untouched because motivation never arrived the way they expected. Discipline changes that pattern. Discipline says, start anyway. It says that your future is too important to depend on a temporary feeling. When you act without waiting for motivation, you break the cycle of hesitation. You show yourself that action is possible even in moments of doubt or fatigue. This realization builds confidence in a much deeper way than motivation ever could. Motivation often appears after action, not before it. Once you begin working, something shifts inside you. Progress creates energy. Small accomplishments create excitement. The very thing you were waiting to feel begins to grow because you took action without it. This is why disciplined people often appear more motivated than everyone else. In reality, They simply started before they felt ready. Discipline also protects you from distractions. Modern life is filled with constant interruptions, notifications, messages, entertainment, and endless streams of information. Without discipline, it's easy to spend hours reacting to whatever appears on your screen or in your environment. Your day becomes controlled by external demands instead of your own priorities. Discipline creates boundaries that protect your time and attention. This does not mean discipline eliminates struggle. There will still be days when your energy is low and your mind feels scattered. The difference is that disciplined people continue showing up anyway. They understand that success is not built in moments of excitement, but in moments of consistency. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even when it is difficult, you strengthen the trust you have in your own character. Over time, discipline builds a powerful reputation inside your own mind. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. You begin to believe that you can handle challenges without quitting. This inner confidence becomes a foundation for bigger goals. The more disciplined you become in small areas of your life, the more capable you feel in larger ones. Discipline also brings clarity. When you create routines and systems, your day becomes more structured and intentional. Instead of constantly reacting to problems, you begin guiding your life with purpose. This sense of control reduces stress and increases focus. You no longer feel like life is pushing you in every direction. Instead, you feel like you are steering your own path. One of the most powerful aspects of discipline is that it compounds over time. A single organized morning may not change your life instantly. One focused hour of work may seem small in the moment, but when those actions are repeated every day, week after week, they begin to create massive results. Small disciplined decisions slowly transform into long-term success. It is important to remember that discipline is not about punishment or harsh self-control. At its core, discipline is an act of self-respect. It is the decision to treat your goals as valuable enough to protect with consistent effort. When you discipline your time, your habits, and your focus, you are telling yourself that your future matters. There will always be moments when motivation fades. Even the most successful people experience days when they feel uninspired. What separates those who move forward from those who remain stuck is not the constant presence of motivation. It is the presence of discipline. Discipline keeps you moving when motivation disappears. Discipline carries you through the quiet days when progress feels slow. Discipline reminds you that your dreams deserve effort, not excuses. So instead of asking yourself whether you feel motivated today, ask a different question. Ask yourself what action your future requires right now. Then take that step, even if your energy is low and your excitement is missing. Because the truth is simple but powerful. Motivation is temporary, but discipline is reliable. Motivation may start the journey, but discipline is what carries you all the way to the destination. Time is the one resource every person on earth receives in equal measure. Every day begins with the same 24 hours, whether someone is a student, an entrepreneur, an artist, or a leader. Yet by the end of the day, the results of those hours can look completely different from one person to another. Some people move closer to their goals, build something meaningful, or create progress in their lives. Others feel like the entire day slipped away without accomplishing what truly matters. The difference is rarely about intelligence or opportunity. More often, it comes down to who has learned to take control of their time. Many people believe they have a time problem, but what they truly have is a priority problem. When everything feels urgent, nothing receives the attention it deserves. The day becomes a constant reaction to messages, requests, interruptions, and distractions. You move from task to task without intention, hoping to catch up, hoping to stay afloat, but never feeling truly in control. When this pattern continues long enough, it creates the illusion that life is simply too busy to manage. But the truth is that time becomes chaotic when it is not guided by clear decisions. Taking control of your time begins with recognizing how valuable it truly is. Time is different from money or possessions because once it passes, it cannot be recovered. You can earn back lost income, rebuild a damaged project, or replace physical things, but the hours that disappear each day are gone forever. When you begin to see time through this lens, you start treating it with greater respect. You become more aware of where it goes and more intentional about how it is used. One of the biggest challenges people face is the quiet habit of allowing others to control their schedule. Without realizing it, many individuals design their day around the expectations and demands of everyone else. Messages are answered immediately, requests are accepted without thought, and commitments are made without considering personal priorities. Slowly, their own goals become something they hope to get to later. But later rarely arrives when the day is already full of obligations that were never carefully chosen. Taking control of your time requires the courage to decide what truly matters. It means identifying the goals, responsibilities, and activities that deserve your best energy. When your priorities are clear, your schedule becomes easier to design. Instead of filling your day with whatever appears in front of you, you begin protecting specific blocks of time for the things that move your life forward. This simple shift changes your relationship with your day. You stop reacting to time and start directing it. Another powerful step in controlling your time is learning to plan ahead. Many people begin their day without a clear picture of what needs to be accomplished. As a result, the morning quickly turns into a series of random decisions. Each new task competes for attention, and the most important work is often pushed aside by the most immediate distractions. Planning ahead removes this confusion. When you decide the night before or early in the morning what your priorities are, your mind begins the day with clarity and purpose. Planning does not mean every minute must be rigidly scheduled. Life will always contain unexpected events, and flexibility is necessary. However, having a structure creates direction. When interruptions appear, you can quickly evaluate whether they deserve your time or whether they should wait. Without a plan, every interruption feels equally important. With a plan, you have a guide that keeps your attention focused on what truly matters. Another reason people struggle with time management is the habit of underestimating how easily distractions consume their day. Modern technology places endless entertainment, information, and communication in the palm of your hand. A quick glance at a phone can easily turn into 30 minutes of scrolling. Notifications constantly pull attention away from meaningful work. These small moments may feel harmless individually, but together they quietly steal hours from your schedule. Taking control of your time means creating boundaries around these distractions. It means deciding when you will check messages instead of allowing messages to check you. It means protecting certain hours for focused work without constant interruptions. These boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you are used to immediate responses and constant connectivity, but over time they create a powerful sense of control and productivity. Energy management also plays a crucial role in how effectively you use your time. Not every hour of the day carries the same level of focus or creativity. Some people feel most alert early in the morning, while others experience their strongest concentration later in the day. Understanding your natural rhythm allows you to place your most important task during your highest energy periods. When your schedule aligns with your energy, your productivity increases without requiring extra effort. It is also important to remember that rest is not the enemy of productivity. In fact, proper rest makes productive time far more effective. When people push themselves without breaks, their concentration weakens and mistakes increase. Short periods of rest allow the mind to reset and return to work with sharper focus. Controlling your time does not mean filling every moment with activity. It means balancing effort and recovery in a way that supports long-term performance. Consistency is what transforms time management from a temporary effort into a lasting habit. Organizing your schedule for one day can feel helpful, but organizing it every day creates lasting change. Over time, routines develop that make productive choices easier and more automatic. Instead of constantly struggling to stay organized, your schedule begins working in your favor. As you become more intentional with your time, you may notice an unexpected benefit, a greater sense of peace. When you know your priorities are being handled and your schedule reflects what truly matters, the constant pressure of unfinished tasks begins to fade. You feel less scattered and more focused. Your mind becomes calmer because it trusts the structure you have created. Taking control of your time is not about squeezing as many tasks as possible into a single day. It is about ensuring that your most meaningful goals receive the attention they deserve. It is about aligning your daily actions with the future you want to build. When your time reflects your priorities, progress becomes steady and visible. Every day offers a new opportunity to choose how your hours will be spent. You can allow them to disappear into distractions and endless reactions, or you can guide them with purpose and clarity. The moment you begin treating your time as one of your most valuable resources, your life begins to move in a new direction. Because when you truly take control of your time, you are doing more than organizing your schedule. You are shaping your future, one intentional hour at a time. One of the greatest obstacles to an organized life is not always the number of responsibilities you carry, but the clutter that surrounds and fills your mind. Clutter does not only exist in physical spaces like a crowded desk, an overfilled room, or a messy workspace. It also lives in your thoughts, your worries, your unfinished tasks, and the constant stream of information competing for your attention. When both your environment and your mind are filled with noise, it becomes incredibly difficult to focus on what truly matters. Your surroundings influence your mental state more than you might realize. When you walk into a room that is clean, organized, and intentional, your mind often feels calmer and more focused. But when you step into a space filled with scattered objects, unfinished projects, and visual distractions, your brain begins processing all of those signals at once. Even if you try to ignore them, they quietly pull your attention in multiple directions. Over time, this constant visual noise drains your concentration and reduces your ability to work with clarity. Many people underestimate how much physical clutter affects their productivity. A desk piled with papers, random objects, and disorganized materials forces your mind to constantly search for what it needs. Every task becomes slightly harder because the tools and information required are hidden among unnecessary items. These small frustrations accumulate throughout the day, creating a sense of stress that slowly chips away at your energy and patience. Decluttering your environment is not about creating perfection or turning your space into something that looks like a showroom. It is about designing an environment that supports your focus and reduces distractions. When the items around you have a clear purpose and a proper place, your mind no longer wastes energy processing unnecessary details. Instead, your attention becomes free to focus on meaningful work and important decisions. The process of decluttering also teaches an important lesson about priorities. Every object you keep in your environment represents a choice. It takes up physical space, and it occupies a small amount of your mental awareness. When you begin removing items that no longer serve a purpose, you create room not only in your space, but also in your thinking. Your environment becomes a reflection of what truly matters rather than a storage place for everything you once considered important. However, decluttering the environment is only one part of the process. The mind itself can become just as crowded. Many people carry dozens of thoughts at once, unfinished ideas, worries about the future, reminders of tasks they need to complete, and lingering concerns from the past. This constant mental activity makes it difficult to concentrate deeply on a single objective. Your attention jumps from one thought to another, leaving you feeling busy but mentally exhausted. Mental clutter often comes from trying to remember everything without a system. When tasks, responsibilities, and ideas are stored only in your mind, your brain constantly works to keep them from being forgotten. Instead of focusing on the present moment, part of your attention remains occupied by the fear that you might overlook something important. Over time, this creates a sense of overwhelm, even when your actual workload may be manageable. One of the most effective ways to clear mental clutter is to move your thoughts out of your head and into a reliable system. Writing down task ideas and responsibilities immediately relieves the pressure on your mind. Once something is recorded in a trusted place, whether it is a notebook, planner, or digital system, your brain no longer needs to hold on to it. This simple habit frees up mental space and allows you to think more clearly. Another source of mental clutter is the habit of constantly consuming information without giving your mind time to process it. News updates, social media posts, messages, and endless streams of content flood your brain with more input than it can effectively handle. While some information is useful, too much of it creates noise. Instead of feeling informed, you begin to feel overwhelmed and distracted. Reducing this mental noise requires intentional boundaries. Limiting unnecessary information and choosing when to engage with digital platforms can dramatically improve your clarity of thought. When your mind is not constantly interrupted by new stimuli, it gains the ability to focus more deeply on the tasks and goals that matter most. Emotional clutter can also weigh heavily on the mind. Unresolved conflicts, lingering resentment, regret over past mistakes, and fear about future outcomes all occupy mental energy. Even when you are trying to concentrate on something productive, these emotions can quietly pull your thoughts away from the present moment. Addressing emotional clutter often requires reflection, honest conversations, or the willingness to let go of situations you cannot control. Clearing mental and environmental clutter does not happen instantly. It is a gradual process that requires awareness and consistent effort. The goal is not to eliminate every distraction, but to reduce the unnecessary noise that prevents your mind from functioning at its best. Each small step towards simplicity creates a little more space for focus, creativity, and intentional action. As your environment becomes more organized and your mind less crowded, you may notice an important shift in your energy. Tasks that once felt overwhelming begin to feel manageable. Decisions become easier because fewer distractions compete for your attention. Instead of feeling pulled in every direction, you begin to experience a sense of control over your focus and your time. Clarity is one of the most valuable advantages you can create for yourself. When your mind is clear, you can see opportunities more easily, you can think creatively, solve problems effectively, and make decisions with confidence. But clarity rarely exists in the presence of constant clutter. It grows in environments where distractions are minimized and priorities are visible. Decluttering your mind and environment is ultimately an act of preparation. You are preparing your life to handle bigger goals, deeper focus, and greater responsibility. A chaotic environment struggles to support meaningful progress, But an organized one provides the stability needed for growth. When you intentionally remove what no longer serves you, both physically and mentally, you create space for what truly matters. Your attention becomes sharper, your energy becomes more focused. Your life begins to feel less like a constant battle against disorder and more like a path guided by purpose. And in that space of clarity, your potential finally has the room it needs to grow. Many people approach their goals with bursts of enthusiasm. They start a new plan, feel motivated for a few days, and promise themselves that this time things will be different. But after the excitement fades, life slowly returns to its old patterns. The problem is not always a lack of desire or ambition. Often the missing piece is the absence of daily systems and habits. Without them, progress depends entirely on motivation, and motivation alone is rarely strong enough to carry a person through the long journey of meaningful change. A system is simply a structured way of doing things consistently. It is the framework that supports your actions every day, even when you do not feel particularly inspired. Instead of relying on sudden bursts of discipline, a system turns important behaviors into routine. It removes the constant need to make decisions about whether or not you will act. The action becomes part of your day, just like brushing your teeth or preparing a meal. Habits are the building blocks of these systems. They are small actions repeated so frequently that they begin to happen almost automatically. At first, a new habit requires conscious effort. You must remind yourself to follow through, and it may feel uncomfortable or unfamiliar. But over time, repetition strengthens the habit until it becomes a natural part of your routine. This transformation is powerful because it allows progress to continue even when your motivation fluctuates. Many people underestimate the impact of small daily habits. They often focus only on large achievements and dramatic changes, believing that success must arrive through big, noticeable actions. But the truth is that most meaningful results grow from consistent, smaller steps taken over long periods of time. A single productive hour each day may not seem extraordinary, but repeated over weeks and months, it creates remarkable progress. Daily systems also reduce the mental energy required to stay organized. When you create a predictable structure for your day, you remove many unnecessary decisions. Instead of wondering when you should work on your goals, when you should review your tasks, or when you should take care of responsibilities, those actions already have a designated place in your schedule. This clarity makes it easier to stay focused and reduces the stress that comes from constant uncertainty. One of the most effective ways to build strong habits is to start small. When people attempt to change too many behaviors at once, they often become overwhelmed and eventually abandon the effort. But when you introduce one manageable habit at a time, the process becomes far more sustainable. A simple routine repeated consistently gradually strengthens your discipline and builds confidence in your ability to follow through. Consistency matters far more than intensity. A habit performed regularly, even at a modest level, creates stronger long-term results than occasional bursts of extreme effort. Many people make the mistake of trying to accomplish everything at once, only to burn out after a short period. Systems and habits encourage steady progress instead of dramatic but temporary action. Another important advantage of systems is that they create stability during difficult periods. Life will always include moments of stress, fatigue, or unexpected challenges. During those times, motivation often disappears. If your progress depends only on feeling inspired, those difficult days can quickly interrupt your momentum, but when your actions are supported by habits and systems, you are more likely to continue moving forward even when circumstances are not ideal. Habits also shape your identity over time. Every repeated action sends a message to your mind about the type of person you are becoming. When you consistently follow your routines, you begin to see yourself as someone who is disciplined, organized, and reliable. This shift in self-perception strengthens your commitment to the behaviors that support your goals. Creating daily systems also helps protect your most valuable resource, your attention. Without structure, your day can easily be consumed by distractions, unexpected requests, and low-priority tasks. A well-designed system ensures that your most important work receives dedicated time before other demands begin to compete for your focus. This protection is essential for maintaining progress on meaningful goals. Morning and evening routines are particularly powerful examples of daily systems. The way you begin your day often influences everything that follows. A calm and intentional morning routine can create clarity, focus, and direction. Similarly, an evening routine allows you to review your progress, prepare for the next day, and create a sense of closure before rest. These simple structures act like anchors that keep your day balanced and purposeful. Accountability can also strengthen the effectiveness of your systems. When you track your habits or review your routines regularly, you become more aware of your progress and more motivated to maintain consistency. Even a simple habit tracker or daily checklist can provide valuable feedback and reinforce your commitment to improvement. It is important to remember that systems should support your life. The goal is not to create rigid rules that make every moment feel restricted. Instead, systems should provide guidance and stability while still allowing flexibility when necessary. Life will always bring unexpected situations, and your routine should be able to adapt without collapsing completely. Over time, strong systems create a powerful compounding effect. Each small habit builds upon the previous one, gradually strengthening your discipline and productivity. The actions that once required effort begin to feel natural. What once felt like a struggle slowly transforms into a normal part of your daily life. Many successful individuals attribute their achievements not to extraordinary bursts of effort, but to the systems they follow consistently. These systems allow them to maintain focus, manage their time effectively, and continue progressing even when challenges arise. The same principle applies to anyone willing to develop habits that support their goals. The beauty of daily systems is that they transform ambition into action. Dreams and goals become far more achievable when they are connected to clear routines. Instead of wondering when progress will happen, you know that each day contains specific actions that move you closer to the future you want. Every habit you build becomes a small investment in that future. Each organized morning, each focused work session, and each intentional routine strengthens the foundation of your life. Over time, those small investments accumulate into results that once seemed distant or impossible. When you commit to building daily systems and habits, you stop relying on temporary motivation. You create a structure that supports your growth regardless of how you feel on any given day. And with that structure in place, progress becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Every person carries a vision of the life they would like to live. It may include stability, peace of mind, meaningful work, personal growth, or the ability to achieve long-held dreams. Yet many people struggle to move closer to that vision, not because the dream itself is impossible, but because their daily lives lack the structure needed to support it. A future filled with purpose and success cannot grow in an environment that is constantly disorganized and reactive. Structure is the framework that turns vision into reality. Structure is often misunderstood. Some people imagine it as something restrictive, as if creating routines and systems will remove freedom from their lives. In reality, the opposite is true. Structure provides direction. Without it, time and energy scatter in every direction, leaving little room for the things that truly matter. When structure exists, you gain control over how your efforts are used. Instead of constantly reacting to circumstances, you begin guiding your life with intention. Think of structure as the foundation of a building. Before anything impressive can be constructed, the base must be strong and carefully designed. The higher the building, the stronger the foundation must be. The same principle applies to life. The bigger your dreams, the more important it becomes to create systems that support them. Without structure, even the most powerful ambitions struggle to survive the pressures of daily distractions. One of the first steps in creating structure is defining your priorities. Many people live with vague goals and scattered intentions. They want to improve their lives, but have not clearly identified what matters most. When priorities remain unclear, it becomes easy for less important tasks to consume the majority of your time. Structure begins when you decide what deserves your best energy and focus. Once priorities are clear, structure gives those priorities a place in your daily routine. Instead of hoping you will eventually find time for meaningful work, you intentionally schedule it. Your goals stop being distant ideas and become regular parts of your day. This shift is powerful because it connects your present actions with your future aspirations. Every time you follow your structure, you reinforce the path toward the life you want to create. Structure also helps reduce the chaos that often leads to stress and confusion. When responsibilities are organized and routines are consistent, your mind no longer feels overwhelmed by uncertainty. You know what needs to be done, when it needs to happen, and how you will approach it. This clarity allows you to focus more deeply on each task rather than constantly worrying about what you might be forgetting. Another benefit of structure is that it strengthens your discipline over time. When you follow a structured routine, your actions become more predictable and consistent. Instead of relying on willpower, every time you need to complete a task, your routine naturally guides you toward productive behavior. Over time, this consistency builds momentum that makes progress feel more natural and less forced. Structure also protects your long-term goals from short-term distractions. Modern life offers endless opportunities to lose focus. Social media, entertainment, unexpected requests, and daily interruptions can easily consume your attention if you allow them to. Without structure, your day may become a series of reactions to whatever demands your time in the moment. With structure in place, you have a clear plan that helps you stay aligned with what truly matters. However, creating structure does not mean eliminating flexibility from your life. A healthy structure leaves room for adjustments when necessary. Life is unpredictable, and there will always be moments when plans must change. The purpose of structure is not to control every minute perfectly, but to provide a reliable framework that keeps your priorities protected even when circumstances shift. Many people delay building structure because they believe they need perfect conditions before they begin. They wait for a calmer schedule, more motivation, or a clearer sense of direction. But structure often emerges through action rather than waiting. By gradually organizing your time, setting routines, and clarifying your goals, you begin shaping a life that supports your ambitions instead of working against them. Small structural changes can produce powerful results. Something as simple as planning your day the night before, setting specific times for focused work, or creating a consistent morning routine can dramatically improve how you use your time and energy. These simple frameworks guide your behavior in subtle ways, helping you stay productive even when motivation fluctuates. Structure also strengthens your sense of confidence. When your life has clear systems and routines, you begin trusting your ability to handle responsibilities effectively. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by everything you need to accomplish, you see a path forward. Each completed task reinforces the belief that you are capable of managing your time and building the future you desire. Over time, the structure you create becomes a powerful support system for your personal growth. It ensures that important areas of your life receive consistent attention: your work, your learning, your health, and your relationships. Instead of neglecting these areas until problems arise, your routines help maintain balance and stability. One of the most rewarding aspects of structure is the freedom it ultimately provides. When your responsibilities are organized and your priorities are protected, you gain more control over your time. You spend less energy reacting to chaos and more energy pursuing meaningful goals. This creates space not only for productivity, but also for rest, creativity, and enjoyment. Your future is shaped by the patterns you repeat each day. If those patterns are disorganized and inconsistent, progress becomes slow and uncertain. But when those patterns are guided by clear structure, each day becomes an opportunity to move forward with purpose. The life you imagine stops feeling distant because your daily actions are aligned with the direction you want to go. Creating structure is not about becoming perfect or rigid. It is about building a life that supports the person you want to become. It is about designing your days in a way that gives your dreams room to grow. With structure in place, your goals are no longer competing with chaos. They're supported by systems that help them flourish. And when your life begins to operate with that kind of clarity and intention, something powerful happens. Your future stops being something you merely hope for. Instead, it becomes something you are actively building, one structured day at a time.